What is up, my frosty brethren? My name is Arctic, and it is that time of year. A new Call of Duty has arrived. Infinite Warfare is out, y'all. And look, let me just be honest. I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan. Outside of my fiance wanting to pick up Call of Duty every year for the last like 4 years, I probably wouldn't even buy it. You know, maybe last year's Black Ops 3 would have piqued my interest because I've enjoyed Treyarch's Black Ops series. But you know, I probably wouldn't really pick up Call of Duty if it wasn't for her. And her and I play quite a bit when you know, she sits down and she's like, hey, let's play some Call of Duty. So we'll split screen it up. And for those of you that have been tuning into our live streams, we've been actually split screening like this on Call of Duty for, like I said, like the past maybe 5 years or so. Since her and I have been together. So this is like our game to play together. And you know, for those of you guys tuning into our live streams now, we have a pretty good time. So talking a little bit about Infinite Warfare, you know, I feel like this game gets the movement just a smidge better than Black Ops 3. It feels a little bit better to move around. They borrowed a lot of the same systems from Treyarch, and that whole you know, Black Ops 3 introduction which is much more like Titanfall than, you know, traditional Call of Duties where, you know, you just run, jump, and basically go prone. You dolphin dive, right? You guys, for those of you guys that remember that. Yeah, this is much more aerial combat, a lot more jumping, a lot more sliding, and trying to keep your reticle, your crosshair on your enemy as they, you know, are moving all around the map. And where Infinite Warfare, I think, succeeds that I feel like Black Ops didn't is just that it just feels just a smidge more responsive when you're moving around on those walls, you're jumping, you're sliding. It just feels a little better. Now, that being said, this feels nowhere near as good as Titanfall in terms of movement. And the reason I'm making this comparison is because while we were streaming, we must have gotten like 30 different people coming in and asking, Titanfall 2 or Infinite Warfare, Titanfall 2 or Infinite Warfare, Titanfall 2 or Infinite Warfare, TF2 or IW, TF2 or IW. And it's like, a lot of people actually, I guess, are looking at these two like they're competitors, and they very well should be, because, you know, I feel like what Titanfall did with their movement back in 2013 was actually, you know, widely adopted by the powerhouse that is Call of Duty franchise. So, you know, it definitely makes sense for people to make those comparisons, as well as Respawn Entertainment being the OG Infinity Ward studio. I think that, you know, naturally, if you know that history, if you are hardcore into gaming, you know all this stuff, then you want to make those kind of associations. Just flat out, let me just get this out of the way, because we're 3 minutes in and I still want to cover a couple things. Titanfall 2 is hands down better than Infinite Warfare, is better than Black Ops 3, is probably the best shooter I've played in, I don't know, since maybe Titanfall. I mean, it's really, really good. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on just how good the game feels and plays. So, you know, if you're trying to decide between the two, like Titanfall 2, I'm going to tell you that 10 times out of 10, because it is fantastic. Now, hopping back over to Infinite Warfare, you know, I think the weapons so far seem pretty good. As you start out, you know, you kind of are limited in options, but there's quite a few people that have already gotten and unlocked quite a bit more things. So, you know, I'll run around, and every now and again I'll pick up another weapon and use that in combat. And, you know, the weapons feel good. There's times when I swear you should not lose some of the gunfights that you do, and you end up losing them, and you're left like wondering, well, how did that happen? And that's been the same song and dance on Call of Duty for a really, really, really long time. So, you know, I feel like that probably bothers me just a smidge. There's a couple things that I noticed where players will face a different direction, and this is mostly when they're in the air. They will face a different direction and be shooting you in one direction, so you think you have the jump on them, and you don't, and you just die, and you're like, what just happened? And so I've noticed that a couple times here and there, and I've been a little irritated by that. But, you know, weapon-wise, you know, it feels like a Call of Duty game. They got all the unlocks, all the perks, everything that you would imagine with a Call of Duty for the last umpteen years is in this one. and it feels good. One of the things that, you know, they took the concept from Black Ops is this like idea of heroes and having them kind of unlock a special unique abilities. I've been playing this robot who's like supposed to be a speedy character. I still haven't been able to really tell the difference in speed. Maybe I need to go back to like a character that is slower or something like that, but it seems like everybody's moving the same speed all the time. So, you know, I haven't really noticed the difference in that description for that robot hero or whatever you want to call him. So, you know, I think that adds up like kind of unique appeal per match to kind of have those special unique abilities that you can use and run around with. It was a great concept from Black Ops 3 that, you know, I feel like carries over well into this. And this is more along those lines of like, how do you incorporate League of Legends or Dota into a shooter, right? And so this is what they've been kind of doing. I think it's a great idea, and it keeps people you know, very vested in understanding how you can best utilize a character. Map wise, you know, I'm kind of a mixed bag. I do like some of the maps. On the other hand, there's a number of them with some of the pathways and the winding and the color schemes that they don't sit well for me. I will say that there's this map with this farm that's like a halo that looks amazing. It's like they took what's that Matt Damon movie, the one where he's in the mech and, you know, they fly out to that like outer space outpost or whatever it is that's like a halo straight from Halo. It's like that, but there's a farm on it and you're like playing on, man, listen guys, that map is awesome. And there's other ones where you're like on this raggedy, tore up like space freighter that like got blown up outer space, and it looks like hot garbage. And I don't know, the stark contrast in like the color palettes and some of the map layout and the details on the maps, but that particular map, that one that you're outside and it's like on fire, I can't stand that map. I think it looks really bad, and I hate the color palette because that metallic color, there's a lot of people running around as those robots, really blends in a little too much when, you know, you see all those very metallic grays and reds and stuff floating around on the map. It doesn't look fantastic. But there's another map where you die, and it's like from Alien. I'm gonna throw that out there. It reminds me of Alien. You die and then you kind of like float up, the original Alien guys. So you lose gravity when you die, and I don't know, it's just funny. Christy loves that map. I had a pretty good time on it, but super tight corridors, and you don't really get an opportunity to utilize the wall running and things like that. So, you know, I feel like they have this mechanic where, you know, you can do a lot of wall running, you could do the sliding, you could utilize this movement, but in some cases they have this mix mash between old Call of Duty where you can't do any of that, and these tight corridors, super, I would say, I don't want to say fast paced, it's just a slower pace game than some of the ones that have the open pathways, lots of wall running paths, and a bit more feel of like action and open space. I kind of like those maps a little bit more than some of the tight corridor stuff. It throws you for a bit of a loop when you're running around per game mode, trying to figure out where you should go and how you should play. And then, you know, I think it does a good job of maybe blending the two types of players that are playing this game: the person that likes that old Call of Duty pace, and the folks that are amped up on this faster speed and utilizing more movement to kind of juke out players. I think it does a good job of doing that. Just it's a stark contrast in maps, and it doesn't make it feel very cohesive. We did play some of the new game modes as well. We played, I want to say it's Frontline, where you spawn at a base, you have like armor, but it's essentially team deathmatch. We played Defender, which is basically Oddball from Halo. It's fun. Christy was running around. I think we actually won that game. She was just running around with that ball and trying to stay alive. We played some Hardpoint. She played Gun Game, which, you know, in Gun Game, the animation for switching weapons. Look, the only gun game that I've liked has been like the original Gun Game, OG Gun Game, and then Call of Duty Advanced Warfare's gun game is really good, and that's made by Sledgehammer, and that was like maybe 3 years ago that one came out. So, you know, I don't know what it is about it on here. It just does not feel very good. and they have a weird score. It's like at 18 or something like that. So yeah, you know, I think the game is fun. Just to kind of close out here, I think the game is fun. I think you can enjoy it. But if you're gonna ask me what should you play between Titanfall 2 and Infinite Warfare, I'm gonna tell you every time you should play Titanfall 2. So that's pretty much my impressions of this Call of Duty. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until the next time, I'll catch you all later. Stay frosty.
Thank you.
We did it! Did you enjoy this video?
It was hot. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making this video. If you enjoyed this video, what do you think they should do?
They should like and subscribe. Is that too much?
I was, you know, on a scale of like 1 to 10, that was probably like 8. You bring it down to a 5. I was just looking at 5.
There you go. Like and subscribe.
That was like a 3.
I got it. Like and subscribe, guys.